This is the story of the pride that goeth before a fall. In a certain village within the eastern region of India, there lived 10 cloth merchants who always went about together. Once upon a time, they had travelled far afield and were returning home with a great deal of money which they had obtained by selling their wares. Now there happened to be a dense forest near the village, and this they reached early one morning. Now within this forest there lived 3 notorious robbers, of whose existence the traders had never heard, and while they were still in the middle of the forest, the robbers stood before them, with swords and cudgels in their hands. They ordered them to lay down all they had. The traders had no weapons with them, and so, though they were many more in number, they had to submit themselves to the robbers, who in turn took everything away from them, even the very clothes they wore, and gave to each only a small loincloth, a span in breadth and a cubit in length. The idea that they had conquered 10 men and plundered all their property now took possession of the robbers' minds. They seated themselves like 3 monarchs before the men they had plundered and ordered them to dance to them before returning home. The merchants now mourned their fate. They had lost all they had, and still the robbers were not satisfied, but ordered them to dance. There was among the 10 merchants one who was very clever. He pondered over the calamity that had come upon him and his friends, the dance they would have to perform, and the magnificent manner in which the 3 robbers had seated themselves on the grass. At the same time, he observed that they had all placed their weapons on the ground, in the assurance of having thoroughly cowed the traders, who were now beginning to dance. So he took the lead in the dance, and as a song is always sung by the leader on such occasions, to which the rest keep in time with hands and feet, he thus began to sing.
We are empty men, they are earth men. If each earth man surround Eno man remains ta taitom ta gingana.
The robbers were all uneducated and thought that the leader was merely singing a song as usual. But the leader commenced from a distance, and had sung the song over twice before he and his companions commenced to approach the robbers. They had all understood his meaning because they had been trained in trade. You see, when 2 traders discuss the price of an article in the presence of a purchaser, they use a riddling sort of language. "What is the price of this cloth?" one trader would ask another. "20 rupees, another will reply, meaning 10 rupees. Thus, there is no possibility of the purchaser knowing what is meant unless he be acquainted with trade language. By the rules of this secret language, erith means 3, enti means 10, ino means 1. So the leader by his song meant to hint to his fellow traders that they were 10 men, the robbers only 3, and that if 3 pounced upon each of the robbers, 9 of them could hold them down, while the remaining 1 bound the robbers' hands and feet. The 3 thieves, glorying in their victory and having little understanding of the meaning of the song and the intentions of the dancers, were proudly seating chewing betel and tobacco. Meanwhile, the song was sung a 3rd time. Ta, tai, tom had left the lips of the singer, and before Tadingana was out of them, the traders separated into parties of 3, and each party pounced upon a thief. The remaining 1, the leader himself, tore up into long, narrow strips a large piece of cloth, 6 cubits long, and tied the hands and feet of the robbers. The robbers quickly became entirely humbled and rolled on the ground like 3 bags of rice. The 10 traders now took back all their property and armed themselves with the swords and cudgels of their enemies, and when they reached their village, they often amused their friends and relatives by telling stories of their adventure in the forest near their village. The end.